Hi, I'm actually out of the class today because my son is at home sick. I didn't get a call until this morning, so I'm actually trying to get you guys a little video to help you through the activity that we're going to do with reflection. Okay, so here's the task at hand. If you've opened up the document, you are on the light and optics page. That's where you should be directed to anyway. And we're going into the books that are on page 164. And, it starts here on 163, and it's the reflection and refraction. How does light behave when its path is changed? And we're going to do 1 through 3 of this activity. Okay, so you're going to do 1 through 3 of this activity, and then after everybody's done with the activity, we're actually going to watch and build my video that's on optics as well. Alright, so here we go. We're going to start, and I'm going to walk you through this, and so this way you can kind of pause as you guys are working at your tables, so you can kind of get this done. The items that you're going to need in order to do this, you're going to need to get one of the lasers out. The lasers themselves are going to need to have the batteries put in them, and everything is up on the front table there. So there's the lasers and everything, so you should be able to find everything that you need. But just to make sure, batteries go in. Okay, so we're putting the plus side in towards the laser. There you go. And then you screw that on. So you need one laser. You're going to have to go grab one of the flashlight holders from the back trays, and then we basically slide our laser into that, so that's our laser holder. We're going to need a plane mirror. Okay, so this is our plane mirror. Okay, we're going to need one of these protractors, and the protractors that we're using are just these little plastic ones, so we're going to use those. You're going to need a note card. Okay, we're going to use this to trace the line. A piece of graph paper. This is going to go into your notebook, and some Scotch tape. Okay, so first thing that I'm going to ask you to do is this. You're going to want to set this up so that this your graph paper is kind of secured down. So I'm going to say, and this is what you'll do is each person can take a turn doing this. So you're going to have this. Actually, we'll do this within your group here. Okay, so we're going to secure down our graph paper, but everybody's going to want their own graph paper at some point, so everybody's going to have to go through and do this activity. But you can work together at it, and so I would just suggest maybe taking a pause in between each, because you're going to have to share the lasers and you're going to have to share the mirrors. Okay, so I've got my piece of paper down there. In fact, so I don't forget, I'm going to get out my writing utensil. I'm going to put my name on it. Okay, because this is going to go into my notebook. Now we're going to start by going through, and it does say, set the sheet of graph paper on your table. We're going to secure it down with a little Scotch tape. We're going to align the laser or slide the laser into the stand, turn it on, align the laser so that the beam follows a horizontal line across the paper. Okay, so I'm going to pick some horizontal line, okay, and that's one of these lines that are going on here. And I'm just going to see if I can align my laser so that it's on one of these lines. And so I'm going to use the note card to kind of line it up. So I'm going to put the note card on the line, and I'm going to turn my laser so that part of that laser beam actually hits the edge of my note card. And I'm going to check it by moving it down to a different spot down here, and I can see that I'm a little bit off. And now the nice thing should be is that if I follow that line, the laser actually stays on that line. So my laser beam is now going to follow this horizontal line on my paper. Now I'm going to put the mirror down here on the end, okay? And I'm going to take my mirror and I'm going to have it, at some angle. So I'm going to make sure it's at some angle. Let's see, I'm just going to double check. So I'm going to start marking on my paper where things are. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mark my mirror, okay, and I'm going to mark the line that goes in, or at least that my laser is following, so I know which line my laser is following. Okay, so I put a couple of dots down there because I'll actually use my mirror afterwards as a straight edge when I get things kind of put in place. So I've got my mirror there. It's going in. Okay. Now I have to find the ray that comes out of the mirror. Okay, and we call this a reflected ray. Now the ray that is actually the laser going into the mirror, that's referred to as an incident ray. So it's the incident ray goes in and a reflected ray comes out. So now I'm going to go back here. I'm going to use the note card until I find the ray that is reflected. And I'm going to bring my card back again until I get just a little bit of that laser on the edge. And I'm going to put a little mark. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing at another point. Okay. And I'll see if I can get a third. Oh, I just bumped my laser. Okay. And so this is where you do have to be very careful not to bump your laser. But I did get 2 marks in there. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start to draw in my rays here. So I'm going to turn my laser off. Okay. I'm going to mark this. This is my mirror. Okay. I'm going to use the mirror as a straight edge to show the ray that's going in. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the mirror to be my straight edge for the ray coming out. So I line up my points. Now what I'm getting here is I'm getting this kind of a V shape. Okay, and I don't know if you can see that all that well, but I'm getting kind of this V shape, and I need to label my rays. Okay, and that's where they go through and they talk about the ray diagram. So this is actually a ray diagram. It's a representation of what's happening to light as it hits a surface and gets reflected. So we look at this ray diagram and we're going to say which one is the incident ray and which one is the reflected ray, and we want to label them. Now whenever I draw these lines, so this line was the ray that went into the mirror, so remember my mirror was right here. Okay, I like to put a arrowhead, okay, in the direction that that ray was traveling, and we call that now an incident ray. So it's the ray that hit into the mirror. So this is my incident ray. Okay, and I'm going to mark it as incident ray 1 because we're going to actually make 4 rays on here. And then this ray, as it bounces back out, I'm going to have an arrow going out, and this is going to be my reflected ray. Okay, and that's reflected ray 1. And then I'm going to put in a new line. Okay, and the new line is going to be called a normal. Okay, so this is going to be my normal line. And a normal line is this. It's a line that is perpendicular to a surface. So now perpendicular just means that I'm going to look at my mirror and I'm going to go perpendicular to that surface. So this is where my protractor comes in. So I'm going to set my protractor up so that it's right there in between the 2 rays. Okay, and that I'm going to have this point that's going to be perpendicular or at a 90-degree angle. So I've lined it up so that the point of the protractor is right in between the 2 rays, and it's on that line that's the mirror. So here's where the edge of the protractor is on the mirror, and here's that. So now I'm going to draw in my normal. And I'm going to label that as a normal. So there's my normal line. Okay, I've got my incident ray, my reflected ray, and my normal line. Now I'm going to use this, and you can see that in the book. It has angle of incidence, angle of reflection, and this is going to be for diagrams 1, 2, 3, 4. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to then measure the angles. Okay, so we're going to use the protractors to measure the angles. Okay, so I'm going to measure the angle here, and I'm going to set the protractor on there, put the point at the vertice of the angle, and it looks like it comes out to be about 34.5 degrees. So I'm going to mark that as 34.5 degrees. And I'm going to do the same thing with the other one. And it comes out to be 34.5 degrees. Okay, so I measure those 2 angles and I record those 2 in my book. Now that's for diagram number 1. Then I'm going to repeat diagram number 2, but I'm going to pick a different area. So I'm probably going to set my mirror over on this corner. I'm going to do my reflection and incident rays here. I'll do another one over here and another one in here. So again, each person's going to want to do this 4 times. You're going to have to take some time to share with the lasers. There should be 10, I think, sets maybe of lasers, so you might be able to work with you and a partner, but we'll see how that goes. When you're done with the diagram, you can just take this off of your table. Okay, so we'll peel the tape up. And this will then be attached into your notebook. So this will be part of your notebook for reflection. Okay, so on the page that we started. Okay, and so there you go. And if the corners tear, that's going to be fine. Just make sure that you get the pieces there. So we're going to take our ray diagram that we just created, and we're going to put it into our notebook so that can be scored later. Okay. And we're done as soon as we got our 4 ray diagrams, and then it's off to watch a little bit of Bill Nye video. The one thing about the Bill Nye video that you're going to notice is that they'll talk about the law of reflection, which, by the way, you should finish then writing about what is the general statement for the law of reflection. It's part of the document that's there. And then they'll also talk about refraction a little bit. And refraction is something we'll talk about tomorrow as well. So we'll look at curved mirrors tomorrow, and then we'll look at refraction as well. Hopefully everything goes well. I will try to be on so that I can answer any questions later. So when you are in class, I should be on the document as well, and I'll be probably checking to see who's on and who's working at that point in time as well. All right, we'll see you tomorrow.